Hello ESA, I'm Ragged Dan, and this is a commentary exhibition and run-through of Paint the Town Red 100% scenarios. This was run also at ESA 2022 Summer, so it's a year ago I suppose, of this event. It was run by Trident and I did the commentary for it. The reason I'm submitting it again is mainly because it has had some new strategies developed for it and new routes a little bit. To some extent, the records have been broken to a larger extent as well. It's very impressive now. The RNG that's involved in this game is a bit ridiculous occasionally, but I think it's very good for a marathon because it doesn't become like the times aren't an hour or half an hour and then anywhere in between or whatever. This run should only take a maximum of about 20 minutes, and that's including any additional incentive stuff that I've got planned. If you're not familiar with this game at all, let me explain it to you briefly. A few YouTubers did play it a while ago, back in the day when it was being released. The full release was in 2021, and the initial beta release was in 2015, if I remember correctly. It may have been on itch.io 2014, I can't remember. But I am fairly experienced in this game. I know this is sort of one of those submissions that's from my traditional roster of games. It's not one of those ones, unfortunately, that I'm developing anew, but I've got other ones of those on the way. So, if you're not familiar with this game, it uses a voxel physics combat system. This is very quick, but if I have a weapon like this bladed knife, and you attack people with it, you see that they lose voxels and parts of their person. Exactly where I hit them or whatever, and you can cause certain injuries to people that kill them, like removing their leg. Big speedrunning strategy, very important. That's the gist of the game. It's a little bit violent, of course, there's that aspect, but luckily everyone does look like they're from a Minecraft mod of some sort. An overachieving Minecraft mod, perhaps. And the objective of this category is to eliminate every enemy in all of the levels in the main game. The main original game has Biker Bar, Disco, Prison, Pirate Cove, Day, Night, that's the same level, and then Saloon is a newer one, but they are all included in 100%, so those 5 levels. And then the incentive level I have is basically I could do Pirate Cove Day or Night, in addition to the other Pirate Cove Day Night, and then do various modifiers on it, and that could be basically a bid wall you could have between a couple of different ones. I'm thinking 0G and Super Hot because these are like well known, I suppose. I could also have Lights Out, which makes it very dark. You could have Living Dead. You could also have No Weapons, which might take a while. It might be a bit ridiculous. We've also got Hard Hitter. Makes it very easy. Everyone has a machete. There's lots of very interesting ones we can do here. What we're going to do is begin the speedrun on Disco. We could just do them in order, actually. I think that the best order you do when you're running this category is you begin with the most RNG intensive level and end with the least, so that the reset isn't as dramatically bad. And the most RNG intensive level is Pirate Cove Day, and then it goes to Disco, and then to Prison, Biker Bar, and then Saloon, although that may not be true anymore. For a very long time, that is very much the case, though. So what I'm going to do is start with Pirate Cove Day. If you're not aware, this game goes also chronologically, in sort of time, I suppose. Not chronologically, it just has different time periods. And you could do the run chronologically, I suppose. Without any further ado, I'm going to get into the run. Time starts when you click into the first level as it happens, so as soon as we load in, we're going to go. And let's start. I'm going to not use live split, I'm going to use a timer on the edge of the screen in the editing program afterwards. But I'm reasonably confident that there's nothing that can go wrong in this. On unfamiliar peripherals, I may die at some point, which means you have to reset the level. That's not a huge time loss, it's a couple of minutes, and there's probably no way it'll happen more than once or twice in the run. What we need to do on Pirate Cove is kill enough enemies with various daggers and weapons like that until we've got a bar of power. Use this shockwave that I used a moment ago there in the little bar tavern area, and what that does is aggro a lot of enemies onto us. When these enemies are aggroed onto us, they follow us out onto this pier, and we can use the same power in a minute, the same shockwave, to send them all into the ocean, which is substantially quicker than doing any normal sort of combat around in the bar. And it is a little bit luck-based, it's very luck-based, how many of the enemies follow you outside onto the pier, which is why this is the most RNG-intensive level. I'm going to walk around, collect them into one group, should be able to get a shockwave off here, and there we go. And they're all flying in. Except this guy called Blackbeard, obviously you probably heard of him. He's the main enemy of the level. Take him out just like that, because he's a bit of a pain to deal with later on. Now the best path we can follow is going onto these rocks, and we've got to aggro this different zone of people that are attached to a different zone. They don't all start fighting at once, but they will do if we kill enough enemies beforehand. Look at them go. There they are. They're all off into the ocean, and the ocean instantly kills players. There's a little bit more RNG here as well. People are in a large group rather than a smaller one. We're going to shockwave all of them into the ocean. If none of them get stuck on the... a couple of them got stuck on the beers. Doesn't matter. We've got one of these nice large swords from the group of people over there, though, and we can usually finish off a bulk of the level with this sword. If we do sort of a sweep at players' legs, or the enemy's legs, then they all, and if they lose a leg, they die instantly. So it's very much worth trying to get sweeps of the legs. The other large piece of RNG involved in this category is the random nature of the enemies, of the weapons that you pick up. So the weapons can have different durabilities, just depending on chance. You can slightly affect this if you are attacking enemies that are already damaged. Then the durability will be slightly improved. Sorry, that is usually a bit of a problem. There's someone stuck up here at the end of the level. After you use the first shockwave, they get stuck on a table, can't get off. It is a Unity game. I don't really know what people tend to expect with this, other than that sort of stuff will happen. Then we've got Disco. You might start with this level occasionally. It's in the 70s. What we're going to do is immediately grab a machete. It's a very powerful weapon. Throw it over here. We need to kill the boss of the level immediately. Hardest boss in the game, and this is going to be brutal. Throw a knife through the middle of his face, but he's got a lot of health, so we're going to have to attack him with his nunchuck violently. That's the fastest way we can hit him, by the way, I should say. More knife swings directly to the face. Alright, sometimes that is enough. I'm going to hit him with a glass on his desk of whiskey, and we've taken him down. The reason we need to kill him early on is because he has a large katana sword. Now, this is exceptionally useful for the game. I'm going to pause to explain the strategy, because it has loads and loads and loads of durability. And we can swing and hit people on the legs like this. There is also a slight time save we can use, which is to jump through this door. Very stable Unity engineer. Jump down, save us having to go down the stairs. It's a little strategy that has... It's unusual to use it because occasionally a body can get stuck in front of the door. It doesn't work so well. But we can use this katana to eliminate everyone on the dance floor by sweeping out their legs. Just as you may have seen in the last summer run of this game, which there were a couple of mistakes and it went a little bit slow, but it wasn't too bad by any means. The katana broke a little bit more quickly than I'd like. We're going to grab this guy. His stick, he's got a pimp cane, it's called. It's got a little dollar sign on the top. This is also a good weapon because it has loads of durability, very available. And it explodes people's heads as well for a nice added benefit. You can see there the voxel chunk detail. It's all collapsing. So yeah, it's like a really lovely comedic gruesomeness. There's also a pair of nunchucks behind this area of the bar. These levels all have a rather brilliant soundtrack, I should say. The reason I've not got it on is just so that the commentary can be focused on. It's made by Jeff Van Dyke, the soundtrack, and we've got a few more people left than I would have imagined at this stage. Very unlucky we've been with some of the weapons, but it's not too bad. We just have to, just continue as is. We use that knife on the katana boss, which means... Whoops, I went through the door pretty much accidentally. That does happen occasionally. We've got ourselves a ninja style here we can use. Maybe... There we go. Perfect leg shot. We might be able to use his weapon there. Get ourselves a comb. And then 3 of these guys arrive through the door. Usually use their weapons last because they come in bearing arms. They arrive through the door. This has not been good RNG so far, so this might be a good showcase of a sort of an upper limit to the estimate. You also notice I've got a health bar on the bottom left. Hopefully I don't die. If I do, I have to restart the level. You lose a couple of minutes, as I say. Usually that level can be completed in under a minute if you have a good RNG on the first katana. So, a little bit unlucky there. We're now moving on to prison. This is set in the 90s. Usually this would follow the biker bar level. But there is an immediate strat we do on prison, which was you grab this tray, and we need to attack this guy up through the floor, who is threatening this guy with an armband. And the benefit of doing that is we get all of the people who have that armband on our side. Another speedrun strategy there. We need ourselves a piece of fruit, and they're a little bit harder to get in this update of the game, since people start going for pieces of fruit more often. If we don't find one on these tables and we can't see anyone, we can always go behind this little confectionery counter and grab ourselves an orange. What we're going to do is head over to Solitary and throw this orange into a solitary confinement cell, like this, and we get ourselves another friend, the biggest, meanest guy in the whole prison. If we let him out, we're now best friends with the most powerful enemy in the level, which is very useful because he'll kill lots of people for us, hopefully. And now we've done that, we can go up here. Because my taser broke just then, doesn't normally, very bad RNG again. We need to aggro these guys, because there's another sort of mini-boss who's in this cell who gets aggroed if we aggro one of those guards. And he has a machete, which is very useful. If he follows us around, what we'd normally do is throw the taser at him down the hallway, and then he would follow us around the level for the rest of the time, and we get the machete earlier on. We now got the shotgun from this office up there. What we're going to do with this is attack people by doing jump shots, so the pellets go and crash into this large crowd of people instead of just shooting one guy normally with lots of pellets. Very efficient. What we want to get from this on a good run is usually a full 3 power bars. As a result of the shotgun, we nearly got it there. It wasn't great, but that's all right. That's usually okay. So the best RNG for that is to have lots of big groups of people. Bad RNG if you're going for a world record on this level, definitely. But now we've got this machete, we normally just kill everyone we can with it. Of course, what you could also do is shockwave people beforehand. I sort of didn't think there was a good position for that, but actually there are more groups. That's a mistake from me. Don't worry, certainly a bit of practice will iron out those sorts of problems. But what shockwaves do, as I've said previously, is they increase the durability of weapons because the weapon isn't losing as much durability as it otherwise would be every time you hit people. So the weapon lasts for more hits, and usually you can use a machete, for example, to kill enemies in one hit. So more hits is more kills directly. Also got a barbell, which very RNG based, only had 2 hits there, but usually it's 1 hit kills. 1, 2, another 2. That can go for 3 or 4, that's about the limit of that. Pretty much how it goes. Of course, this does seem like slightly mindless violence, and I would like to assure people there is also a proper, official sort of campaign, roguelike campaign for this game, which I will also be submitting. Maybe more interesting, it's sort of, it's called Beneath, whoops, I'm very used to clicking on that level, on the community level stuff, which is another aspect of the game which is very enjoyable. Sorry, let me just pause for a second to explain Beneath quickly. Beneath, wouldn't have to do this in the run, I'd just say so beforehand. But Beneath is a proper campaign. In my other submission for Beneath, I will talk about that. If it's not accepted, then that's fine. I'll just give it a passing mention here. If this isn't accepted, that's also fine. I'll do Beneath. Biker Bar is one of the less RNG levels for getting a decent time, in my opinion. We use this machete that's hidden on top of the moose's head to eliminate people in this area, and what that means is we don't have to come back and deal with people in that area anymore. You want to condense the zone of combat as much as possible so you're not walking around for the whole level. I'm doing a bad job of that here because I'm getting, once again, rather poor RNG. Okay. Also, if you take any damage in this game, you lose one of these units of power, which can be really bad in speedruns because you kill exactly the correct number of enemies, then get hit, and suddenly you have to kill more, and you may not have the facilities or the weapons to do that. What we've done there is we've aggroed a few people in that far back office. The result of that is that we get more people following us around. I'm going to throw this knife down there for later. Grab another machete that's also hidden away in the rafters, and we're going to get a lot of leg sweeps on these people, hopefully. Maximise our number of kills. Sorry, I keep getting stuck on these Unity props tables and stuff like that. We're already bloody low on health as well, I should say. Hopefully that doesn't get any worse. We need to kill this guy, though, because he has a machete. He is one of the 2 bosses on the level. We'll encounter another one of the bosses sooner or later. See if we can get a few more of these leg sweep kills with the machete. Not had great RNG at all so far, so this is a reasonably good worst case scenario sort of showcase, I guess, just inadvertently. Once we've used the machete we can, and a knife, we can use various other weapons around the level, like pool cues. And to be honest, quite a lot of sections of this run are just hitting people with whatever you can find, but there are good weapons around the place, like this knife from the dartboard, which you can kill people with, and behind the bar. I've now got about 3 bars of power. You could have less, but what I'm going to use this for is shockwave people upstairs, so we don't have to bother going upstairs at all. I'm going to shockwave in this exact position in the bathrooms, roughly, I should say. And what this does is it aggroes all of these chefs in the kitchen, and it aggroes lots of these people who are downstairs. So we don't have to save us having to go downstairs. All these people are already following us. And now we can head into the kitchen, and we can use our 3rd shockwave in a minute to aggro anyone else remaining upstairs. Hopefully. It may not work. You sometimes miss. Sometimes people go in different places because the AI does behave differently. It'd be a really poor game if the AI didn't behave differently. But we can just use all of this large connection of knives in the kitchen and the knives the chefs all wield to get lots of kills on these people who are aggroed and follow us into the kitchen. There's a second boss on the level, there's a boxer. Unfortunately, he's not any more tough than any of the other enemies if you have a knife in your hand. It's tragic, really. Those longer blade fillet knife kind of type things are particularly good, I should say, for getting one-shot kills in the face. You just have to stab people in the middle of the face. If it contacts their brain, then you've done it. You've got yourself a nice little kill there. And we've got a baseball bat behind the bar we can use as well. This is usually 2 hits for a kill. And by this point, yeah, you'd expect to be dwindling numbers of enemies left at best. And do we have another knife we can use? Yes, it's on the counter in the kitchen. I thought I might have picked this one up yet, but I haven't. And by this point, the enemy's upstairs, if there are any left. I didn't use a 3rd shockwave because there wasn't really a good time to use it. And if I use it now in the level, it would actually delay the time a little bit, I think, by and large. So what we're going to do... Unity chair collision, again, Unity props. And are you alive? Yes, okay, so we've got 2 more people alive. I think one of them is in this pile, and one of them is stuck on a chair, or table, sorry, rather. There we go. Brilliant, sublime combat, there we go. A little bit slow on that one as well, but it's generally okay. I'll do more practice, and hopefully the RNG's a little bit better live, but it's not too serious either way. We've now got Saloon coming up. And Saloon is one of the more consistent levels, at least in theory, because you can generally always be wielding a knife, and there are loads of knives on this level. We're going to hit this guy who's got a saw through the floorboards. I didn't want the saw to fall through, actually. Okay, that's good. We're stuck in the ceiling to access upstairs. There's also a pistol in the safe that we need to use. Grab upstairs. And we're going to use this pistol a bit like the shockwaves. You need to aggro lots of groups of people so you're not constantly walking back to them later on in the run. So you're down, and we're going to throw the little gun over there, hopefully hitting someone there and aggroing them. Grab this saw that did fall through the gap. We'll put it back upstairs. I'm going to kill a few people upstairs with it, hopefully. And there's also a knife in the ceiling we can grab up here. Killing more people with that. It's such a... What I love about this run, I should explain the reason it's good for speedrunning at all. It's so fast-paced, it requires a little bit of improvisation every run, it requires a good knowledge of the game. It's very skill-based, as well as being a little bit luck-based, because... a little bit is quite luck-based to get world records nowadays. But the reason it's so skill-based is because you have to have a great affinity with the game to play it well. Of course you do. We're going to use a few shockwaves to aggro these large sectors of people over here, and one over here as well. There's also a knife on this shelf we're going to go for. Didn't have people standing around by the shelf that time, which is usually good positioning. So, again, a little bit unlucky. A few people over here in this clump. We're going to shockwave them as well. And we've got a knife by this fireplace collection. And all these people who are aggroed are now following us. We should get a lot of hits out of the next few knives. In theory, because we have people following us who are shockwave damaged, as I've said, that will make it a lot easier. We've also got a saw, which means we can now get lots of hits, and usually this is the deciding factor for this level. It wasn't very many hits at all that time. Okay, no good, but don't worry. We can still use a lot of other knives. The reason this level is good for that respect is that you never really slow on it because you have lots of knives. If anyone's wondering how difficult this game is, just based on my current performance, I'm doing quite well. I think I'm a little bit lucky not to have died yet in some ways. You don't usually die during run attempts of this, it's just a lot of times I've been on low health and not been playing at my best. I'm a little bit out of practice on this category. So I know this is sort of on my standard roster of games. It's something that I have a great familiarity with in speedrunning. But I've sort of fallen away from these categories recently because I've taken to content creation a bit more. But I do love speedrunning, I do love this game and this category. So I'd love to see this back just another time with this optimized strategy. Slightly optimized route, which I'm using here, particularly on this level. It's a very new optimized 100% idea. Oh god, that chair could well have spelled the end of my run. We've got another cleaver right on the backboard. It's unusual I'm delving for these at this late in the run. But we are doing it all the same. Get him in the legs with the cleaver, because the cleaver can't one-shot to the face, other knives can. He's already damaged, so it will kill him. And we've got two enemies left. Presumably they're fighting each other, and in fact they will never end up following me. Ooh, hang on. I'm stuck on a table. That's interesting. Got one more. Okay, they were following me. I just didn't notice. Excellent. They're dead. Blood spurts out. And that traditionally would be the end of the category. Now, if we were doing an incentive for this, which I really hope so, I think that's a good way to raise a little bit of money for Alzheimer Fondant. We could go to Pirate Cove Night, the variation, and there could be a bidding war between a couple of different modifiers we can use for the levels, which is really the fun of the game in some ways. You get this really wacky Unity physics sort of stuff. So 0G I think would be a good one to showcase. Pirate Cove Night 0G. What we did in the previous time this was showcased is we did kill or spare the traitor, but I don't think that incentive would work very well if we spared him, because it doesn't change very much at all about the run. In fact, we just wouldn't go over there. We wouldn't play anything different to the category. So what I'm going to do is Pirate Cove again with the traditional strats, but with 0G, and we can see what kind of hilarious results we get. Stuff like that is already brilliant fun, I think. If you remember my strategy for this one, we need to get ourselves 1 bar of power to get a good shockwave that kills a lot of the level. Okay, that should be big aggro, and because there's 0G, it killed a lot of people there. That's very ideal. We're going to hope that a few people follow us out onto the pier and they're not just floating around in the air forever. But to be honest, they could be floating for a very long time because of the way 0G works. And you can see the way I'm essentially flying and the blood is flying in the air. So should we go for a little bit of a shockwave out on the pier? Have we got anyone following us? I tell you what, that strat isn't going to work with 0G. Can it improvise? Yep, he's been eaten by a shark, no problem. Going to shockwave these people outside. And yeah, he certainly isn't coming back anytime soon. Oh, we could also play this on Pirate Cove Day. I just think nights to show off. There are no night doors. Nighttime outdoorsy maps. A few people on the beach we can shockwave as well to get them properly into space. Not sure if they're ever going to die, to be honest, at this stage, but we'll give it a go. It's actually not too difficult to get out of the map with 0G. And I've also got one final little extra bonus that I could show people. Yeah, they're all... really can't see them very well, but they're all gone. If I had the third set smite, I would actually be able to kill them in midair with sort of a Zeus power, but we don't have the power for that, so that'd be quite entertaining. There's usually a shovel back here. I think I've lost it by the amount of 0G that I've done. Alright, come on, Blackbeard, come on then. Another shockwave, that's killed both of them, or at least it should have done. You're hopefully going to die. We're going to have to punch the Blackbeard boss to death now because we've not been able to kill him with the traditional shockwaves. He's got a lot of health, usually. Sorry, usually, yes, in this pack as well. Come on, Blackbeard. Takes a lot of hits. Oh, we've lost him. Right. I'll tell you what, we're going to do it again. I know this is all very unlikely to have happened, but that's why I suggest an estimate of about 20 minutes. What I'll show you the unique strategy on this level is that you can usually pull this knife to get shoot up into the air and grab a flintlock that's on top of the ship, but that gets a lot substantially magnified if you're on 0G. Whoopsie doodle, I jumped by accident before pressing the button. We've got to grab it, pressing E and jumping at the same time, which is very tough occasionally. Can we get it, please? Give me the knife. There we go. Didn't work just about. I didn't press jump in time, though. So, yeah. We get a great view of the whole map. We should be able to jump back down onto this mast and get the flintlock, though. And we'll jump back down onto the roof of the boss's area and kill Blackbeard. Should we finish the run? Yeah, I'll finish the run. Finish this little area. Doesn't kill him in one shot, usually, if ever. So, it has been discovered by the speedrunning community for this game that there is an insta-kill available on Blackbeard, which is sort of revolutionary for this bosses category that they've developed. We've developed, I suppose, if you like, a long time ago, because it allows Blackbeard to be killed very, very quickly, in under 5 seconds from the start of the level, in fact. And use another shockwave, killing everyone I possibly can in the bar. Yeah, I don't think there's anyone really, by and large, alive in the bar now. They're all floating off into the netherworld. If we get a mid-air kick going on this guy, that would be such a icing on the cake, wouldn't it? Yep, I think I've pushed him forward enough to go into the water. Yep. Oh, he's stuck because the Unity physics handler isn't able to process what's going on. Can we make it to the beach? Yes, we can. Very nice. We're going to shockwave this group of people as well. Hopefully that'll eliminate all of them. 7 left. I think that might just be the group on this area of the beach. You can see them fighting each other, the blood just spurting off into the distance. It's like a Tarantino movie. Yeah, it's not a horrendously violent game, but it's not amazing either for that sort of aspect. I think, yep, they're all gone into the nothingness. And... okay, that didn't kill them. I'm very surprised. How are they not dead? They're gone. They're gone now. Can we make it all the way back over to the end of the level? Yep, we can just simply jump across the ocean. Big time save, speedrunning-wise, of course. There is an any modifiers category for these levels, which we haven't... it's very optimised. They're about 2 seconds, and it would be in a massive epilepsy problem and stuff, and it wouldn't be worth showcasing at an event. But I really hope that you've enjoyed this submission and this run. I hope it's considered again, despite being here very recently. I think it's been developed a lot, and I'm very excited to give it a go. If not, I've got another couple of different categories that I can submit for this game, and I probably will. Thank you very much to the speedrunning community for this game. Of course, notably the moderation people, Yutadog and Trident, as well as Zitchik, Despacy Town, who combined, all of us have done about 500 of the 1,000 runs. We're just mad about trying to optimise little tiny aspects of the game, understand the voxels and the way that RNG is calculated and stuff. Whoops, sorry, just readjusting myself on my chair. But yes, anyway, thank you very much. I hope it's considered. See you soon.